You're listening to the Blue Ray Show, the really cool Blue Ray Show. It's the Blue Ray Show, 'cause it's the Blue Ray Show, the one and only Blue Ray Show. It talks about Blu-rays, 'cause it's the Blue Ray Show. The Blue Ray Show talks about the Blue Ray Show. Wanna take a ride? Wanna take a cosmic trip of a lifetime to the journey of the center of your mind, expanding out into the universe that all it is? Well, draw the shades, turn off the lights, put the kids to bed, bring in the dog, put out the cat, or bring in the cat and put out the dog, or bring them both in, and relax and let Bodacious, Bridget Rau, and Shamanka and Natalie, Alaya take you on a spiritual trip that you'll never forget. And here is Bodacious and Bridget Rau. Take it away, Bridget.
Good morning, good afternoon. Wherever you are in this ever-expanding now moment, welcome to the Pleiadian Blue Ray Show with your host, Shamanka Natalie Alaya.
Hello, everyone. Delighted to be here.
Myself, Bridget. And today our two special guest stars, Sif and Larry.
Hey.
Hey, Bridget, Natalie.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good.
Okay. Today's show is all about the twin flames. We've entitled this show The Angel and Her Starman, a true life twin flame story. For those of you who don't know what a twin flame is, my understanding is basically that, you know, our souls are basically one. So I've looked at it like at the beginning of creation, when there was a split of duality of positive and negative, or feminine and masculine. Our twins are that other half of us. So when you go through incarnations, a lot of times you're not even on the same plane, but your twin will be there kind of like guiding you and getting you back to that spot where you're able to ascend and once again come together. And I don't know how others view this, but I view it like if you're here on Earth together, there's no way that you're going to stay separated. You're going to come back together, and you're going to know it. Like, you shouldn't be asking, is this my twin flame? Like, you're going to know, especially if you hear any information in regards to what it is or how it resonates. It's like definitely you know for sure, but I don't know how you guys take that or what your understanding is of what it actually means. So I'm going to let you guys give your take on it.
Yeah, my understanding is pretty much the same as yours. We are literally one soul in two bodies. Me and Larry have a special history together throughout the ages. This is actually the first time we unite physically. But we remember former lifetimes outside of Earth together. We were supposed to be together in Lemuria, but things went terribly wrong there. And we are here now to finish what we started in Lemuria. I have the reason for the title is actually because we have different energies with us in this lifetime. We have, I have more of the angelic energies, and he has more of the star energies in him. And I have had my guides tell me that the reason is the universe we come from originally is supplying Earth now with the energies that we are going to bring down to Earth and share through our relationship when we come together. It's pretty powerful, it's pretty humbling, and has made many things come to in perspective for me, at least. twin flames, I have a whole lot to say, but I want to hear, Larry, you want to comment further on this, or
Yeah, I
should
just
we just
wanted to
go?
echo. I just wanted to echo what Sif said. Yeah, and it's something that you know pretty much right away, even if you're not, if you're kind of in denial a little bit about it. The signs are there. And you really, once you get into that phase of wondering, there is no point of wondering, well, is this my twin flame or isn't this my twin flame? I mean, really isn't too much pondering about it. I know that a lot of people will come into the groups, especially, one of the affiliate groups, Pleiadian Twin Flame Souls United, and they will ask questions like, how do I know if it's my twin flame? Why doesn't my twin flame know that he's my twin flame or she's my twin flame? Those things leave me a little leery when I hear things like that, because like with Sif and I, it's just an all-knowing. It's a resonance and a song that we'll both hear. It's a synchronicity that we'll have together, just on a continuous, second-by-second almost basis, with thinking the same thing, feeling each other's pain. Like if I've got a migraine or something like that, she may take on part of that. If she's having some kind of stomach issues, I may take on that and be feeling that. I'll get home from work or something, or she'll get off work and one of us will describe a pain that we were having, and well, the other one was having it, or or vice versa. So it's just really incredible. And there's also the thoughts that come pouring back to you at some point about past lives, like Sif mentioned Lemuria. I can see like us getting separated in chaos with skyscrapers burning, flooding happening, and then it was just, it was over before it got started then. And, everybody's story is going to be a little bit different, but it's definitely a path to remembering. And as you go, you put pieces of the puzzle together, and with each puzzle you put together, you're like, oh, yeah, well, I knew that. Okay. So you already know all this within. It's just our brains clearing and remembering all this stuff, hence the awakening right now.
Can you guys give a little information on the twin flame split? I know that there's a point in the relationship, like for myself, it's like you come together really quick and awesome, and then there's that one point, there's like the runner stage where one of them is like almost overwhelmed by the love, and they kind of run off away from it, and then they come back together. Did you guys go through that?
Yes, we had a period where we didn't talk, but I don't see that stage as a runner stage. For us, it was more like hacking of timelines. There were influences that drifted or put us apart rather than running, because we always wanted to be together. There was no running from each other or running from yourself, because you are actually, when this runner stage comes up, so you are not running from your twin flame, you are running from yourself. So I didn't think about it as a runner stage. I just was angry at my guides for not protecting us better at the time, and then shouted and yelled at them for quite some times. But I don't remember even. There was several weeks we didn't talk at all.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt like the timelines were hacked as well. It was really weird being in the situation, because when you're in it, you just don't know what's going on, and I was just kind of going with the flow, and I couldn't understand it. But this whole time I had this longingness for Sif. Every other thought I had was about her. I just couldn't get her out of my mind, and it was just strange. You'd have to be in the situation to completely understand it, but the runner stage, I don't know. That reminds me of just kind of a stereotypical cliche. This was really strange. Like timelines had been hacked, and forces that be thankfully helped repair that and put it back together. But yeah, it's kind of really becoming more of a haze to me now, that whole time period, which was actually about a year ago. Right now, it was sometime during November, I do believe, early December, around November of last year that happened, and it was just, Yeah, it's really almost unexplainable in my words. It's just, I can explain the situation and the circumstances, but the feeling behind it wasn't just like, somebody, sad, not getting over somebody who doesn't love you anymore, and you're like, oh, well, I wish they would love me. Why can't they? It's not like that stereotypical situation. It's a bit different. It's something where you really know that there are other forces of a higher realm, some with not so good intentions, at play here.
I totally understand that, and I think that your guys' explanation of it is a lot better, and I saw an explanation similar to what Sif's saying. I think they've labeled it the runner stage, but it's more in just even like during, if you're in an incarnation where you're not together, you're working on yourself so that you can come together more in a divine way and vibrate together at that same thing. That sounds better than like the runner stage where like you just there's no rhyme or reason for it.
The runner's high. There you go.
I've even heard a woman who has been occupying herself for quite some time with mainly the concept of twin flames say that there really is no runner stage. That's a misconception of the stage. And for me, I really don't like the word twin flames, oddly enough, because I think it's a box that has been put up by New Age advertisements, and it really doesn't do justice to what really is happening. And people set off to find their twin flames like it's an adventure quest. Oh, where is my twin flame? Oh, he or she might be just around the corner. I have to go look for the person, because otherwise I will never be happy and I can never fall in love. And for me, it's a shame, because love is divine in any form. And should be embraced in any form. The twin flame is much rarer than people think, and not everybody that are claiming to have found the twin flames are with the twin flames. They are actually with their soulmates. And the reason I say that is because we are getting into this higher consciousness and higher dimension, the fifth dimension. And we are learning to experience unconditional love. And therefore, the frequency of this unconditional love is vibrating in the air and activating your soulmate. And there is nothing wrong with being with your soulmate. Nothing at all. And that makes me just mad that people just run from even relationship they have had because, oh, I have this feeling that I might be meeting my twin flame soon, and throw away maybe a perfectly okay relationship instead of building the strong foundation in the relationship to experience exactly this unconditional love, because we all can't do that.
Yeah, you really, the thing about it is here, I'm sitting listening to Sif go through all this, and I'm thinking, people will, how do I say it? People find their twin flame, it seems to me, if they're destined to. They find it when they have completely gone within and are happy with themselves. You know what I mean? They're either now at that point where they love themselves, not an ego-based love, but they love themselves and they're perfectly content with being just with themselves, with being alone. They're happy with themselves, or they're on that path to getting there. That's around the time, it seems to me, that your energy gets put out there and maybe draws in that twin flame. And again, like Sif, I can't stand that phrase. I created a twin flame group about 1.5 years ago just because my guides have a little bit of sense of humor, but what I had saw before that was, and I really didn't like doing shows on twin flames because I saw people more caught up in the concept of that word and that term, twin flame. They were more caught up in the idea and really didn't do any of the work or go within and, You know, they were so busy going without, trying to read this and trying to watch that and look at this and look up that and go without, that they didn't see everything that was within them and the work that they need to do inside. And hence, I was telling Sif the other day when we were talking about this show, when we first decided we were going to, you know, that we were all going to do it and we planned it. I was on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, and I looked up twin flames. And I'm not even kidding. I looked over to the side. You know, when you're on YouTube, you see all those videos to the side, and it was just a litany all the way down of videos titled something twin flame. I mean, it was just staggering. And that was just, I didn't even load more at the bottom. I mean, it was just staggering. So there's so much minutia out there. And a lot of these are really good tools, but it's just a matter of finding which one. I mean, they all look okay from the outside, and they all look, you know, just kind of like your generic how to connect with your divine twin flame, you know, how to feel your twin flame's energies, how to find, and on and on and on. And so I think that just like with anything else, we get hung up on these labels and we bring these cliches into play. And, you know, I just wish people would understand that they need to be completely happy with themselves. And the moment that you're happy with yourself or getting there, and you're like, hey, I'm just content being by myself, I'm fine with it, I'm cool with it, that's when your energy, if it's meant to be, will start drawing that other person, and when that other person's ready as well. So, you know, it's kind of a touchy thing, and it's really just a fine line between hitting and missing with it. The stars really do have to align right. And I'd be curious to hear what we haven't heard from Natalie yet today.
I was just going to ask you a question. I think, too, that with the Ascension, that there seems to be more twin flame reunions happening, though. I know you say it's rare, but it's definitely increasing.
That's what I was talking about. The Ascension brings on the vibration of twin flames, but true twin flames are much rarer than people think. The vibration is there, and that I know it might be a little confusing for people to understand, but the vibration is there, and you might even have the vibration between soul mates. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I like that point. That's really good. That soulmates, you have that divine love still there.
Exactly, and that shouldn't be any less than being with your twin flame. And that's why I feel so disappointed when I feel like people are going on a hunt after the twin flames, because that's you will be hunting forever. You're never gonna find the person. You're never gonna find yourself, because you are really hunting yourself.
That's what I was going to say with quantum entanglement. If you're one particle that was split into two, you're going to feel everything, just like what you and Larry were talking about, you know, one energy, two bodies. If your twin flame is not manifested in this realm, let's say, you're still connected, because I connect to my twin flame who is in spirit, or I consider that he's in spirit. I don't ever feel apart from him.
Exactly, and that's what people are looking past, really. They focused on the physical relationship, and twin flame relations or connections are far from the typical 3D relationship we see. It's not about the physical, it's about the spiritual, first and foremost. We are here on a mission. We came here to do certain things, and yeah, it makes me speechless, really.
Well, and I think, too, people that are searching for their twin flame like that, they're also searching with that earth filter. They're searching with that filter kind of still of thinking of that ideal romance or ideal relationship that they may have seen in a movie, or that stereotypes in yesteryear may have portrayed. So, you know, it's really complex there, too, because these people that are just hung up on, you know, the phrase and wanting to find their twin flame and be happily ever after, live happily ever after, they're thinking it and they're seeing it through an earth-filtered lens. They don't realize that, like Natalie, you were mentioning connecting with your twin flame. You know, really, though, too, isn't it an energy thing? It's an energy thing completely, right? And it's kind of a unisexual thing. It's an energy thing, and but it's a whole nother story too, to hook up with your twin flame in the physical realm, that comes into play, you know, with the rarity of it, I think, and, you know, finding that lifetime where it happens. And if it doesn't happen for people, you know, it may not be part of the plan for you to ever meet your twin flame in the physical realm. And that's okay, because there's lots of higher dimensions that are better, but it may be that, you know, you're a lifetime away from making it happen. I mean, I see that a lot too. I get the feeling with some people that it's like they're on the verge, and if it doesn't happen this lifetime, they're meant to have it happen the next lifetime, you know, or, you know, later on in this one. And, you know, soulmates are a great thing too. I mean, you know, you may find people out there that are, it's a great relationship, and yet it's 75 to 80% the involvement that a, you know, true twin flame relationship would be. And, you know, for most people, I think that they would take that. You know, it's hard to find love, and it's something I think we all desire within and without, of course, in this 3D world. But I think that a lot of people, a lot of your great relationships you've seen in yesteryear, whether it's some of our parents or grandparents' generation, right, or that have been together 30, 40 years, 20, 30 years, and they're still that couple that just, you know, you can tell they're really happy together. That to me is like a soulmate, and I see them fitting about 80% of what, you know, the true twin flame, like the relationship like Sif and I have, and that, you know, others out there that have it are fortunate enough to have. I see it kind of like that, because why there might be the love, just as much love between that couple that's been together all those years. When I say 80% like a twin flame, what I mean is they're also coming from a realm, though, where their consciousness is not considering all these things and considering all these factors. So their limited consciousness does not allow them to quite break into that 100% mold, I guess is what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense.
It does. Well, I think what you're saying is, and what Sif was saying, was that there is a spiritual aspect of the twin flame connection. It's not just a 3D love relationship. There is a mission.
That's beautiful. And it's funny, I'm sitting here, my mom's here with me, and she's chiming in. I have it on mute, though. I want to ask, like, 2 questions. So I want to hear, like, your guys' story of how you came together and met and everything, but I also want to know, like, touch on the subject of the soulmate and how a soulmate may not just be your other half. Like, you could have a soulmate in a friend, or a soulmate in a child, or if you want to consider them soul family. Like, that, there's just so much to this topic, and soul contracts and things like that. So if you guys wanted to touch in and let us know how you guys met, and you know, the difference between a soul family or a soul contract, and give some information and details on that.
Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Larry, you start.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the ball and run with it first. The way we met was about 1.5 years ago. God, it's been a little bit longer than that now, because we all exist in no time. Time is just getting away from us. Yet it wasn't that long ago. I had saw Sif on Facebook. I saw her name, and I thought that was interesting. And so we got involved in a poke war, a Facebook poke war, and just started doing that. And then I was just getting ready to message her and say, nice poke job or something like that. Then all of a sudden I got a message from her that same night. I mean, this has been going on for a week or two. We've been doing this, but then one night I decided I was going to message her, and before I could do it, she had messaged me, and, you know, I forget exactly what she said, but it was something about the poking, and of course the conversation just went on from there. We just got to know each other, chatted for a while like that. Then we did some voice and audio chat with each other, and it just really went from there. It's strange. And then, you know, the common things that we had in common, the things that we liked, the things that little nuances that we found funny were just amazing. Of course, I felt like an idiot because she knows 3 or 4 languages and I barely know one, ghetto slang American English. And I felt that one time, I messaged her and I'm like, you know what, you're pretty smart. I don't know if I should bore you anymore and talk to you anymore. And she's like, oh no, don't stop talking to me. So we didn't stop talking, and it went from there. And of course, we did spend a month together in physicality, and of course, you know, are planning to live together here really soon. And so, you know, that's just the way it went. As far as the soul collection goes, I think I touched a little bit about, you know, the soulmate, but you're right, Bridget, the soulmate can be a child. It can be your best friend. I feel like I have one. I've had a lifelong best friend since I was 4 years old. And I feel like, you know, he's one of the only awakened people I know in 3D, not counting Facebook, of course, but, you know, it could be that. And there's also a soul family. I believe that all of us, right, are part of this soul family, this team that came here, and parts of these other teams that work together that came here on this mission to awaken humanity, right? So a soul collective and a soul family to me would be, you know, especially like from my, you know, from my standpoint, I look at it like this. I look at somebody like Natalie as kind of a cousin or an aunt. I look at like Bridget or Victoria Pleiadian as like sisters, because their energies are so dead on in their little Pleiadian nuances like mine are. And there's just those other things to consider. And, you know, it's just teams of different people yet all working together. I was kind of all over the board with that, but I'll let Sif clean it up for me like she usually does.
I think you did a pretty great job. In that poke thing, you got the name Poke Master. That was what I said. You won this round. I can't keep up with you. You are the Poke Master, and there it went on. And we actually started talking because we had the same interest on the Pleiadian subject, and you asked me to run the Icelandic Pleiadian group. And our conversation started out just being businesslike, where it gradually went over to the personal things.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I hate to interrupt here for a second, but one thing I did want to mention is that Sif is from Iceland. She lives in Denmark right now and has for about 10 years, but it's so funny, about a week or two before we started in that poke war, I was on the very first taped Google Hangout I ever did. I was with Jane Hermstad and Jason Wilson, and we were talking about the subject of different people from different parts of the world being in the group, and the subject of Iceland came up for some reason, and we were wondering if we had any group members from Iceland, and they both thought we might, and I thought we did too, but I couldn't remember the name. And it turns out, you know, I don't think we actually did, but the point being is it wasn't a week or two later, I met a really cool girl from Iceland. And the whole time we were talking about it on that hangout, I was thinking, God, we need some people from Iceland. We need some cool girls from Iceland to join the group. And, you know, it just happened. It was really strange how it went down like that. But, yeah. Anyway, go ahead, honey. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem at all. My take on soulmates, yeah, I agree with you totally, Larry. There is a certain definition that I find really good, and it is that soulmate is someone who is aligned with your soul, has a similar soul energy, and is sent to challenge, awaken, and stir different parts of you in order for your soul to reach higher states of consciousness. It's a person that comes into your life with a purpose, to teach you things, to help you grow. And the soul family and soul group, there you have this instant feeling of recognition, like you've known this person for 100 years or more. The energy you exchange is felt. It feels like your family, like you were saying, Larry. It feels like you were meeting a brother or sister or a mother or whatever. And you have a soul connection, like you finish each other's sentences, and you are maybe brought together by synchronicity, anything like that. That's part of what soul family is, and due to that, yeah, many people might think that all these details, all these small things are pointing towards even a twin flame connection, but really is a deep soulmate or soul family connection.
Well, yeah, I think we feel it every day, don't we? Certainly all of us, with interacting with each other on Facebook and others of like mind, right? You meet people and start talking with them, and the synchronicities are just amazing, right? You share similar stories, similar feelings, and it's just, you know what, you'd almost have to experience it like we all have to believe it. It's hard to tell somebody that's sitting on the outside just how exciting it is, because in 3D you'll get people that say, oh, I met this really cool person and we had a lot in common and we just bonded and yada 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 yada. You know, that happens, but really that's bullshit. I mean, compared to what we're talking about a deep, true, staggering, stunning, synchronistic resonancy that just you couldn't invent or create it or make the shit up. It's phenomenal, you know. And most of us starseeds, of course, have really high bullshit detectors anyway, yet not a lot of judgment, so we take everything now moment by now moment, and when we feel a deep resonancy, we really do feel it. And the synchronicities are just abound all the time, more and more. And this is, I'm not even talking, of course, right now with your twin flame or with somebody you're in a relationship with. I mean, I'm talking with people you interact with on Facebook, like us, like most of the people you start interacting with in any of the groups, you know, if you're talking privately with them or whatever, you know, even in a post, it's just, you know, it's staggering, the synchronicity. You know, it's a race to make a comment, or who's going to post this? Well, somebody posted that, the other person was just about to. Yeah, it's almost, words can hardly even describe it.
I have a question for both of you. So when did you know for sure that you were twin flames?
I think in the start, neither of us wanted to admit there was anything deeper to it than just a normal friendship. We were quite fine with ourselves and what we had going, but I remember at one point that Larry was telling me that afterwards I had this question bubbling in my mind. I had to ask him, and I didn't know why, because it didn't mean anything to me. I had to ask him if he was a vegetarian. And I actually asked him that, and he was he was on his mobile, and I don't remember if you took the phone or had a headpiece. I hope you had a headpiece. You became very silent, at least, and then you told me, I don't believe you just asked me that, because he was sitting with the same question in his mind, that he had to ask me if I was a vegetarian.
Yeah, I was driving home to ask her that. I remember the store I was passing when the thought came to my mind, and then the fire station down the road a ways when I got that message from Sif. And no, I didn't have a headset on, by the way. I know, shame on me, but that was really bizarre. That's just one instance, but that's one that sticks out in my mind too. That was really wild. That, I mean, she never usually messaged me on my mobile, ever, and to have that when I was thinking the same thing out of nowhere to ask her was just really, really wild, you know. So, but as far as what you were asking, Natalie, is when we actually knew, I don't remember what day it was. Yeah.
I don't remember either, because I think we didn't even know the concept at the time. We didn't think about it.
Well, I had definitely thought about it a little, maybe, but I was kind of pushing it out of my mind because I was still in this phase trying to get the show going, and I was thinking a lot of people wanted to talk about the twin flame subject, and it kept coming up over and over in different groups, and I was just like, I was just, you know, trying to approach it real leery-like, and I just I didn't want to. It sounded too syrupy for me to get involved with and deal with. And then, of course, one night, you know, I got this burst of consciousness and created the Twin Flame group along with the Reiki group at the same time. I got the consciousness to create both those groups and did it the same night. I remember asking some people in the Pleiadian admin chat we had at the time, hey, is this a good idea to do these two groups? People said sure, so I did them. But yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint an exact day and time when we knew. It was kind of just a series of little steps that led us to that, you know, very rapidly, though, at the same time.
That's awesome. So, Natalie, you said you had someone in spirit that you connect with. I think that's really cool. For those who don't have someone who's here on the plane with them to be able to connect with, can you give any tips on how others can do that?
Yeah, sure. I want to say first, like, I didn't always know that my twin flame was in spirit. I always had kind of this story in my head that I was, and like I was a little kid when this came to me. I thought it was a dream, but I used to dream about it, even like awake dreaming, that someone was coming with me, my soulmate, and he got left back on another planet. And I came here alone, and I used to spend, when I was younger, I used to be like really angry. Why'd you leave me here? Take me. And it was just through a process, like I would talk to him in my head and stuff like that, and could see him, I could feel him, I get answers from him, and then I realized, like, gosh, I'm always connected with my twin flame. So it just, I think like that, it just happened over, I think I made the realization it was about a year ago that I was always connected with my twin flame. How to do that? I think a lot of it is setting the intention and, you know, talking in your head, or write him a letter if you don't want to do the talking in your head. But you're deeply connected because they are the other part of your soul, so they will hear you. If you, just like when Sif wanted to ask Larry about the you a vegetarian, he heard her, wanted to ask her the same. They do hear you, even though they may not be on this dimension or plane.
That's awesome. I have a little bit of a twin flame story myself. I had a few years before, well, it's probably a long time ago now, probably like almost 10 years. I went in for a job interview at Applebee's, and when I walked in, I sat down at like one of their tall tables, and here comes, you know, the manager of the place to sit down and interview me, I thought, but who it was actually a cook that was working there. And he just kind of sat across from me and was like staring at me, and I'm like, this is weird. So then the manager comes out and sits with us, and he's like, what are you doing to the person sitting with us? And he's like, I don't know. So he sat there through the whole interview process. And then when I started working there was like an instant connection with us. Like, he'd be in the kitchen and I'd be on the other side, and I'd always find myself like staring at him, or like I'd know he was staring at me. And the intensity between us just kept heating up and heating up. And I'm not usually someone who's like forward, but I can remember one day just like walking into the dishwasher part where like you actually wash the dishes, and like pushing him against the wall, and just there's just so much fire. And then, you know, he asked me out on a date one night, and it was just like from then on we were inseparable. I was like sleeping over at his house instantly, like everything that I liked, he liked, everything that I wanted to do, he was already doing. Like, we would sit and draw for hours. We would just listen to the same music, and every music had meaning to it. And it was songs and things that, like, you know, wasn't in the mainstream. It was like underground stuff, and we'd go to shows and do all this stuff. When we started living together, there came a point where like drugs and alcohol came heavily involved with us, and I got pregnant, and he was so excited and thought it was like going to be the best thing ever, and I got like kind of freaked out because I knew it wasn't okay or safe to have the baby in the state that we were. Like, we were still doing drugs. So in one day, in one afternoon, I just packed up all my stuff and I left, and I didn't even tell him, and went home, and, you know, I had an abortion and went through all that. And he kept saying, through the whole thing, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Well, a few months later, he overdosed and died. And it was like one of the hardest things I went through. And I still, I went through that whole guilt process, like blaming myself. And it wasn't until I started doing like this soul searching and Reiki and things like that that it was able to heal. And I realized he was my twin flame. When he was like, I didn't need a label when he was here, but when I saw, you YouTubing, what is this star seed? And I was doing all that stuff, like twin flames started popping up. And even every picture that was in the videos, every way that they describe it was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I would sit there and like listen to like chats, like I used to listen to the chats Larry would do and be drawing. And I know he would come in and like mess with the drawings. I remember yelling at my mom one day, I'm like, come here, come here. Something had happened to my picture as I had left the room. And it was like messages coming through constantly. I always felt like there was someone there. And deep within, I knew it was him. But then when I started working at Blue Angel, I had so many people who are mediums and stuff. They're like, who's that guy who's with you? Who is that guy? And for a while, I didn't want to say it was him because I wanted that confirmation from an outside source that was like, it's him. And I was able to get that from my friend Leslie, who also has her twin flame on the other side, who had passed from similar reasons. But I know he's here, and he messes with Jamie. Jamie's one of my soulmates, but Jay doesn't like him, so he will turn the computer off on him or flick the lights. And I had gone to see a medium show, and he came through and said to the person who was running the show, that's me doing all that stuff with the lights and the computer. And he like symboled to the engagement ring on my finger and was like, you're supposed to be with me. So it is really cool, and I feel like it's just part of my path, part of like the whatever I'm learning. But I just, oh yeah, and we also have I was born May 18th through the Pleiadian lineup, and he was born November 15th in the Pleiadian lineup. So that was another aspect of like the astrology that was like we were like yin and yang on the opposite side of the big wheel. So that was my little story.
Amazing story, Bridget. Really touched my heart. My gosh.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful, really.
Yeah, I'm just like in silence.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing story. Great job staying composed, telling it too, Bridget. How have you, wow, I guess that begs a question for me. How have you, what is through meditation, through your work, how have you learned to be on that road of accepting it? Do you know what I mean?
It's hard. I mean, there's some days where I'm like, oh my God. And I can remember in the beginning of Jamie and I's relationship, like I even said to him flat out, like, if Jay was still alive, I know I would have got back together with him. And there was never a doubt in the back of my mind when we split up. Like I knew, like I knew in my heart, like we were going to get back together. I was kind of doing it almost in a way to like, I wanted to get to a place where I was like sober and healthy, and I wanted him to do the same. And I kept saying like, just stop doing drugs and I'll come back. And there was also a lot of guilt about, because he had been drawing pictures of like me and him and the baby, and there was like so much guilt in that. But it was like I knew I couldn't. It wasn't right to bring that baby here, and the baby comes too in readings and stuff. And I haven't really been too open to sharing that part about myself either, especially when mediums are like, why is there a kid with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I play dumb because it's uncomfortable, and I went through a lot of emotional stuff with that. But I mean, acceptance is basically you kind of have to accept what life gives to you. I mean, I could go and sit in my basement and cry for the next 20 years and why isn't he here? But I know he is here, and I know that when the time is right, we will be joined again.
Beautiful, and that's how I feel too. I think it's like that. Except you just get to that point where you internally feel the connection, and you just know that they're always there, even if they're not there physically. It's just a inner knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll cry at the mediumship things that I go to and stuff, just because it's like so cool to have someone else like confirm that you're not crazy, and like, oh my God, that's like he always makes people laugh, like they're like, this guy is crazy. And I was seeing some of the comments from Tony too about how him and his twin look a lot alike, and Jay and I did too. I think that you kind of it's just part of that, like, it's not even like maybe even physical, but I think it's the vibration. Like, others may not see it, but you both see it because you vibrate together, and you're in that same frequency, like you guys were saying, the entanglement. It's just a knowing, and it's like there's no separation no matter what. Like, I can feel him, like if I lay down to go to bed at night, like I can feel him here with me. And I know the dogs see him. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, animals can definitely see into other dimensions. A few things. You talked about the child. Sif and I have both had visions of a daughter, a brunette-looking daughter, just kind of flashes of it in dreams, thoughts, and that was another synchronicity. We both brought that up at the same time with each other. As far as the looking alike, I know Sif could definitely touch on that because she brings that up a lot about how some of our features are exactly alike. Our palms look exactly almost alike, the lines on our palms, the way we fit together in pictures. And Sif, if you could touch on that a little bit, that would be great, because I love the way you articulate that to me.
I don't know if I can do a better job than you already did, babe. But I've been looking through the pictures we have had taken of us while I was visiting you, and we are mirroring each other at all times, holding each other the same way, our jackets on our arms, and it's not even premeditated positions we are in. It just happens. We even sleep mirroring each other. We face each other. We have the same amount of pillows. That was we had 3 pillows, 2 to sleep on and 1 to hug. It's just so many small things. And I've been getting that we look alike too.
I was going to interrupt. I think the profile picture that you both have, where you're both holding a cue and he's holding a cue, you're playing pool.
Yeah.
And you guys just like, you look like two, the male and the female twin. You guys look so similar, and the smile and everything, the body language even.
Exactly. And at times when we were together, it was even so intense that I had to ask Larry, well, are you talking today or thinking, or am I? Because it was so much synchronicity in everything we did that it was almost like we didn't have to talk at all. It was like we had known each other, and we have, of course, through thousands and thousands of years.
That's awesome, and I know what you mean. It's like you can just sit in a room together silently, and not anything has to be said. Like when I'm sitting with Jamie in a room, it's like, pay attention to me, or I'll do it to him. Like, we're just not like it was. Like, you're just comforted in that vibration. And I'm someone who loves to spend time alone, and I think I still had that comfort when I was with Jay, because it was like I was alone, but it was like I was with it was like I was with myself, even though he was there, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense, Bridget. Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And how golden is it, though, to find somebody where you can feel that way with? Usually in a relationship, I mean, we're second guessing, or if things are quiet and the mood's just kind of like quiet, doing your own thing, maybe one of the people are like, oh, well, what's wrong? Is there something going on? Is there something wrong? You seem distant. What's going on? And they're like paranoid within themselves about something. They can't relax, and they think that if they're just sitting there quiet together, that that they're not entertaining the other person, or vice versa. And it's just, there's something really golden about being able to do that. Like if Sif wanted to do her knitting while I was watching football or something, right? You know, that would be fine and that would be cool. That wouldn't mean necessarily that I'm into knitting and she's into football. It's just that we enjoy being with that other person while they're enjoying doing something they like. I mean, you know, Sif likes to lay in bed and watch the show Psych on Netflix, and yeah, I think it's an okay show and pretty cool, but I don't mind because, you know, I'm with her and I can be holding her and watching that, and when she falls asleep I can turn it to something else. Some lame old show from the 70s that I like or something. You know,
Yes,
really,
exactly.
yeah, it's amazing, and it's, you can't buy that. It just, you know, and unfortunately most people, I really feel, especially in the past, will go through this whole lifetime and they never quite get to that point. And if they do, it's more of a point where both people are just distant from each other. It's, you know, they could be sitting there talking up a storm, but the connection is nowhere near what it would be with two people that feel the way Sif and I do, when they're just silent. I mean, there's not really a lot of words you can say or want to say because they're just repeated mumbo jumbo garble over and over again, you know, basically to reassure yourself. Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? You know, and on and on and on, you know, and it's just a never-ending cycle with that kind of thing. But there's such a freedom when you're in a relationship where you don't have to experience that. I mean, a relationship, not a relationship. I guess that's the difference.
Okay,
That's perfect.
I have a question too. Just popped into my head while you were talking, Larry. You guys have a mission. What is your mission? Can you talk about that? Is there a mission with the twin flame, the two of you, or am I like hearing that wrong?
We have a mission, both as individuals and as a twin flame couple. The mission will be revealed to us when we get together, because at this point in time we are just finishing more or less our individual missions and getting a clearance to take off as a twin flame couple, really. And part of the mission, as I mentioned before, is to bring the realms together. The star energies and the angelic energies, they have been here for quite a while, helping humanity with ascension. There is coming a different energy from a different. You can't go into it into details here because it's too complicated. But we are a part of that big time, and I have been getting visions of seminars, and we are going to help people throughout the world, different countries and continents.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, I agree. That's what I see coming down the pike too. And it's like, as far as our individual missions go, you know, we'll still have a little bit of that when we're together in the 3D realm, but mainly it will be more and more focused towards situations that we're doing together, whether it's writing a book, whether it's doing vlogs, whether it's doing shows of our own, whether it's talking to people in seminars and doing that. And how that's going to happen, you know, we're not exactly sure. It's just going to have to manifest and, you know, come when it comes. But I see that happening too. I see these energies that are here, these energies that have been here off and on for the last 30 years or so. I know that, you know, Natalie, you'd mentioned last night in a post, you know, something David Wilcock had mentioned, and I know this guy Corey Good's been talking about it along with David Wilcock, but there are these beings, I kind of consider them like an angelic higher star realm all-star team from all over the galaxy and other solar systems and other galaxies, I mean, too, other universes, and they come in through the sun. They are like plasma sphere type beings. They can cloak in and out of existence into dimensions. They're like translucent spheres, but they can take on any shape or form. They can look like humans walking around in the sky. They can look like a ship in the sky. It just depends on what density they're trying to manifest in, or what they're trying to show a particular person that's watching them in the sky. And these beings, I believe do come in through the sun, and I think they come in via Alcyone, the great central sun of our galaxy in the Pleiades. Because I've always thought the sun was a portal to the Pleiades anyway, but it was staggering to hear David and Corey talk about it, because these are the beings that I've been contacting. One of the collectives that I've been contacting for about 5 years now. I call them the Plasma Collective. And then, of course, I have the Orb Collective, but I think they're all related. They're all the same thing. These orbs in the sky come down as smaller orb forms. And you can see, faces of other, what looks to be human beings in these orbs, and they're there. They're usually smiling and grinning, because they can't take on a physical body down in this density. So, but they're all over the sky, all over our clouds, and they come in through the sun every day, I do believe, and hang out in the clouds. I know that sounds crazy, but if I'm going crazy, a lot of people are going crazy, and a lot of people are seeing these beings, and at night, of course, as low-lying stars twinkling and bobbing and blinking all different colors. But yeah,
I noticed Polaris yesterday was blinking and bobbing. The Polaris star.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna ask Tony Maroni. Did he want to talk about his twin flame story, Tony?
Yeah, where would I begin?
Just give us a bit of background about you and your twin flame, how you met, how you knew, because you were a twin flame. That'd be great.
Well, okay, I started a group, like a spiritual group on Facebook, and like when I first started it, I found Wendy in another group. She had responded to something that somebody had posted, and invited her into our group, and almost immediately there was something like, it was almost like talking to myself, and I was just impressed. I was not taken by a twin flame or anything like that. I was just like, this girl's amazing. So immediately I asked her, do you want to be an administrator in the group? And she's like, well, it's pretty quick and everything. I'm like, you're perfect. You're just like so perfect for it. And I think later on that night we start sharing some things. I posted some stuff, and she had asked me about it. She's, why did you post this and that and these pictures and different things? And this is something that I've dreamt about, and it's just weird. And it didn't take long until there was all these synchronicities, and I'm like, well, that's out of my dreams too and stuff. And he's like, I said, it's almost like I'm talking to myself. And I said, just for a moment, like a weird flash hit me, and I said, gee, I'm a little scared. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I kind of feel like all of a sudden I'm like half a person, like half a soul. And she's like, well, would that be so bad? And I don't know. It just was weird, and so I think she came back with, yeah, you seem to vibrate at the same frequency, and I think we met a really long time ago, and maybe we were born together, and she's going to meditate on it. And so it was a long process, and we kind of like, lit up really quick, and things got, intense really, really quick. And so it was pretty overwhelming. I think, it was like, I was consumed by her, and she kind of got freaked out and blocked me for a while, and I think maybe a month or a couple months went by and we didn't talk, and then she popped up and said, are you mad at me? And we started talking again, and things lit up again like crazy. So of course, I don't think the timing was right then. We both seemed to have things to work on and things that we were dealing with and stuff that we had to purge and get out of ourselves. And so again, we took a little bit of a break, and then when she came back again, my God, it was just time. It's just time, and I can't even explain to you. Every minute, every second, it's just a new level, you know. And I'm not one to be like crying all the time, but Jesus, it's really, really freaking me out, and it's wonderful. But every day, every second's a new level, something new. And she's like, maybe we should slow down because we don't want to burn out, you know. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't think I could stay away if I wanted to, and always knew in my heart that, you know, we would. And so, you know, it's funny because I'm looking at like some old pictures. I drew a picture when I was probably 16 years old, and it was the most beautiful woman. I've cherished it. My friends made copies of it. It's actually hanging in their house. It's really sweet. And one day I'm looking, and her picture came up, and I'm like, oh my God, you put them side by side. I couldn't even try to begin to draw her so perfectly. Ears, eyes, nose, mouth, hair, necklace, shoulders, posture, attitude. I mean, mind-boggling. I was 16 years old. It's like 30 years ago. And it wasn't just but a couple weeks that I shared that with her. And then one day I take a picture of me smiling, and she puts it next to her picture, and we look at these pictures, and the cheek lines, the nose, the eyes, oh, weird. It's just, you know, you keep going back to every minute, every second, every day, there's like a new level, and it just goes higher and higher and higher. And it's just, it's crazy. You know, one day I feel like it's just weird. I'll feel like I'm getting, like I'm her. Like today, I didn't really want to be on the show because I'm a construction worker. I'm a stronger kind of, you know, guy. And today I woke up and I was just like, oh man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like you. I feel like a woman or something. You know, I just didn't really feel like myself. We're pretty emotional and up and down and all around. And you know, it's funny because I'll see like the same thing with her, and there is distance between us still, geographically anyway. Not even a particle of distance between us spiritually. And we see the orbs, Larry, and we completely agree about the sun, the center sun.
So do I.
Almost everything that anybody said was just like, it's almost, you know, repeating what I've gone through and what we've gone through.
Great story, Tony.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah, great story.
I can tell you days, but that's about it.
Yeah, that exactly. It's like a perpetual, never-ending loop of that. You know, new highs all the time. Just when you think you've heard and seen it all, you know, something, you know, more pops in to just confirm it even more and more. And now I know why, you know, Sif is very skeptical on people that are twin flames. And now I know why she chose you guys or asked you to come on the show, because I totally feel it, Tony, when you're saying it. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel, you know, I'm hearing you say and feel the same things that I feel towards Sif, and you putting it in a way that I realize that it's not just somebody you're in love with, or you know, or even just a soulmate thing. I mean, I can, you know, I can pretty much 90% just about almost say with certainty that it is what, you know, I'm thinking it is. So, yeah, I'm glad you're on, man. I'm glad you took some time and from, you know, away from the manly construction to come on and talk with us. I really appreciate it, brother. That's great.
Thanks, yeah, thanks, Sif. I appreciate it. I love your guys' energy. I always did. Two very special people, and I guess now it makes a whole lot more sense.
Synchronicity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I resonate with you too, Tony. And I always tell Larry when we talk, it's like my soul catches fire. I get ideas. I get creative. I really, it's such a powerful feeling. And things that it's like you have been warped into activated all the spiritual powers within you when you just talk together, and you can't turn it down. It's impossible to turn this thing down.
You guys should see the videos that I've been making on YouTube. I think you know, the Twin Flames true ones anyway will appreciate them. It's Big Blast, I believe. If If you look up like Big Blast Duality, I'll try to throw a link up somewhere so you guys can find it.
Yeah,
The
put
other
it in.
thing is about the mission. I'm interested in, when I heard, we're on a mission, and it's funny because I remember when I was real little, I used to say I was on a mission from God, but I guess now I actually am.
Yeah, you most certainly are.
Yeah.
And sorry, Larry, I have to get this out of my head before I forget it. I came to remember that when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I had already a feeling of Larry in my life. I can't describe this feeling, but it was like I was asking him to stay. Don't go, don't leave me. I was 9 or 10 years old, standing on a grass field near my house, crying my eyes out. Don't leave me here. I don't want to be alone. I'm sorry I brought you here. And Larry told me later that he actually wasn't fully incarnated here on Earth in his earthly body before the age of 6. And I'm 4 years older than he is. So I actually was calling him back into his body at the time. But that didn't come clear to us before, it was not so long ago, really.
It's interesting. I have this similar kind of a thing where when I was little, it was almost like an imaginary friend girl that I would marry and be with. And it seemed like I was always looking for those characteristics in somebody and never completely satisfied with it. It was always work, kind of a thing. And that's when, I seen Wendy, and as we get to know each other and everything, it just like, okay, this is it. This is what the little kid was thinking and dreaming and feeling and knowing. It's coming through to fruition. It's pretty weird. Amazing, but it's unbelievably weird, strange.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And I wanted to touch on something that Sif had said about the creativity when we're talking. The only regret I have about this whole thing is that I haven't been documenting with a pencil and paper, a pen and paper, these consciousness thoughts that I get when Sif and I are talking. I really I hit myself in the head the next day when I don't write all this down, because it's really mind-blowing and I think would really resonate to the core with a lot of people out there. I mean, I'm not trying to talk out of ego or anything, but the things that I say when I'm on the phone with her are 100 times more profound than anything I've ever put on Facebook or anything like that. And then the next day I don't remember exactly what I had said or how to articulate it, but it's just that energy when the two of us are together. And then, of course, the Pleiadians show up really thick a lot of times when we're talking at night, and the blue beings all around me in the room, and they give me thoughts too, and uploads, and it's just that I need to start writing this stuff down. It's just really amazing. Or I'll be on a walk and get the same kind of thing at night from the stars. But mostly when I'm talking with Sif, it's just amazing, the stuff that'll just start flowing through my mouth, and even I'm impressed with it. I just wish I could remember it,
Hey, Larry.
Yes.
You know what? Me and Wendy, we have about 4,000 PMs together, and it's all archived. Mm-hmm. So on her birthday, I pulled back like most of the first conversation and you were going through about 3,000 at that point, and put them in a video where it has images, and it's like like a film strip type of thing, and then it pops up, hi, I'm would you come to my group and all this stuff. But it's pretty cool to be able to go back and see those archives and go, oh my God. So
yeah,
they're there. I don't know. I guess there's a few more videos for me to make, I guess.
Well, good thing you were typing those out, man. I mean, I know at the time it seemed probably like more of a pain in the ass than voice talking, but yeah, I wish that I had recorded all those phone calls, Sif and I have had talking about this stuff over the phone, because it's just amazing. And I'm glad that, you were able to do that in your situation. And, I wish, start blasting those videos out more, man. We need twin flame talks that are not just your typical minutia. And I'm not slamming any other twin flame subject matter that's out there on the internet. It's just that there's so much minutia to wade through, and I can see somebody who's, you know, bless their heart, really desperately trying to figure this out. Just, you know, it's just endless, and it's a lot of it is just kind of whatever. But we need more twin flame documentation like yours, and I'm really happy that that's out there.
It's very frustrating going through all the stuff that you see out there that contradicts each other and everybody's YouTubes and everybody's opinions, and to hear you guys is probably the first time that I've ever was like, and if you go back in the text for this conversation, I was just like, holy crap, we're not alone. We're not alone. There's actually other people out there like this.
Yeah, no shit, I know. It's great. It's just like, wow, there is other life out there that thinks on our wavelength and frequency. Yeah, it's just amazing. And, you know, as this show does get posted to a ton of Facebook groups and you do see it, I'd like for in the comments section you to leave, you know, if you think about it, leave one of your videos or your YouTube channel. That would be wonderful, man, or both. It's all good.
Yeah, definitely will, man. It's pretty powerful stuff. It kind of chokes me up each time I see my own videos. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you know, it's meant for other people to see this. I mean, people need to know that. I mean, that part of your mission may be to set part of the example for other people. When I say example, I mean it shows them more so what it's really like, you know what I mean? So they can at least get a taste of it. If they don't resonate with it, yet it's one thing, but at least it plants the seed right there for us to be talking about the realisms of this. And that's amazing about your channel, and that's amazing that you have all that documented. And I think that one great thing that can come from this show today is the exposure of that, my friend.
Appreciate it, definitely. It'll be nice. I mean, you talk about like 16 hours of sitting there in front of the computer to make these things, and it's basically love letters to her. And you know, it's cool to be able to share it with everybody, people that are interested. It's great. I just wanted to add before I take off, mission-wise, you know, uniting twins, paramount. You know, definitely like top of the ladder, and changing the vibration of the planet. You know, it's up there too. But really, it's got to start with finding your inner light. You know, that connection to your heart and your higher self, because then the universe will speak with you. So, you know, I just want to go out there constantly, day after day, and try to preach to people or try to reach people and get them to understand that, you know, open up your heart, let it flow, and try to get that connection to your light, you know, and in your higher self. So that's the big thing on my mind constantly, besides, you know, twin flame and saving the world.
People need to know how to pony like Tony Maroni, and they'll have it down.
That's so good, Larry.
He must love you because you've got the rhyming name. He's made me Bodacious Bridget. He's got himself rhyming. I mean, you heard the show, the beginning of the show. He just loves that.
And it's my soul brother, man.
And I like
Thank
your
you for
mission.
being on.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, my cosmically cool funk soul brother from another intergalactic mother.
Oh, you got it, man, all the time, whenever you need me, brother.
And also thank you to Wendy, my cosmically cool funk soul star sister from another intergalactic mister. I hope I got both those rock and lock and played out cliches down. There we go.
Fantastically.
Okay, so did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about in relation to, like, soul family or soul contracts? I don't know if we got into the soul contract that much.
No, I don't have so much on soul contracts. There are so many different theories on that too. But I want to add, because I have a night shift today, and it's only 50 minutes until I have to rush out of the door to be on time at work. So I want to just say that the twin flame experience, the connection, whether it's with your spiritual twin flame or you have a contact and possibility connect in real life, make it your own journey. Please, people, don't buy into all the stuff that's out there. use your discernment, feel it in your heart and soul, because the soul is really telling you which way to go and what is right. And if you need to ask that question, is that person really my twin flame? The answer is probably no. Because when you're with your twin flame, there is absolutely no doubt in your body. It's a knowing, it's a feeling that you can't describe unless you feel it. If you have to ask this question, you are not with your twin flame.
Yeah, unless you're just asking it to be rhetorical and sarcastic like Guy would or a Pleiadian energy would. Yeah, you certainly wouldn't have to ask that question. And please don't buy into the hype, like Sif said. Go within, go on your own journey, listen to yourself. Of course, there's always an exception to every rule. I would blindly listen to Tony Maroni's information. That's just because that's how much I think of him and everything. So if you come across his, go ahead and just zone into it and believe that it's the truth. But typically just go within and you're on your own journey. Take all this information that you're getting and take it with a grain of salt and take what resonates with you, and whatever doesn't, fine, leave it. Some of it may. You may see a particular video, some of it resonates, some of it don't. That doesn't mean the whole thing's good or the whole thing sucks. Take what resonates with you and just, let your guides lead the way. Even like if you're searching for this stuff on YouTube or Googling it or whatever, instead of mindlessly doing it, try to just get a clear mind and let your consciousness take you to a site or take you to a YouTube show or whatever, a YouTube video, and especially if it's Tony Maroni's. Did I plug Tony Maroni's enough? What's it called again? What's it called again, Tony? Come on, your YouTube channel. Well.
Here I am. My YouTube.
You're echoing.
I hear that.
That's
my
awesome.
YouTube.
That's the whole show.
Are you there?
39715. Okay, yeah, Tony, go ahead. Tony, go ahead, man. You got it.
Big Blast, I believe it's called. I think it's just Big Blast. Duality is one of the bigger videos that'll pop up, and I will definitely put it on the link when you put the show up. I'll make sure it's included so everybody can find it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Big Blast for Big Blast of Twin Flame Inspiration. Okay, I'm
Yes, sir. The sun's been blowing up in my dreams and everything. So, the sun's been a big thing, like it's just like a big explosion. So that's what I went by, Big Blast.
Well, that's awesome. That's a big blast. Okay, now we're echoing again. Everybody
I kind of like it.
I kind of do too. I could tell in your voice you're kind of sick like that, but I am too. Yeah, I like it. We should do a whole show like that. I think that'd be far out, along with 3, 9, 7, 1,
5.
Yeah, there we go.
I know we could do good. So let's go ahead and Natalie, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yes. I actually, sorry, I was distracted. Can I just say one quick thing?
Sure.
Before, just on the soul contracts, that's a huge topic. But the soul contracts, you can have soul contracts that are good for you and soul contracts that are bad for you.
Okay.
And you can get rid of the ones that are bad for you. And a lot of times, easiest way is just kind of with intention. Say that, all soul contracts that are stopping your evolution, that are not allowing you to grow, you're releasing yourself from them. Kind of just like making a statement, giving your sovereignty. And I think that's important because
Natalie,
soul contracts can really mess with us.
Natalie, do you think... Oh, here's that echo again. Natalie, do you think... Bridget, I'm gonna. Natalie, do you think that we could even do another small show at some point later on about soul contracts? I mean, I'm not sure. There's so much info about it that it's not really pertinent to bring into another show. But I'm wondering if there's enough of it to stretch out into another show, but that's something we can talk
Yeah, we
about.
can
But I
talk
just
about
want to
that
get your
later, but it'd be good because there's ways to, there's different affirmations you can say for revoking, and like loads of people have their own, let's say, I revoke this. And, but I think just if you say it with intention and purpose and, just say that no, any contract that is blocking your evolution, you resolve and dissolve and release yourself from. I think it's good.
I've done that many times.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's like you just clear another layer.
There's no way that there's any kind of contract. I broke them all and voided them all out, and it's free will now.
Yeah. So we definitely will do another show about that. So, because I think it's a big topic right now, as we are coming up into the fifth dimension, merging with the fifth dimension. We want to come in free of all the shackles. Yeah. So.
Oh God, I see it on the horizon. In the moment you just said that, this is going to be a topic that you're going to see. I don't know, somehow, some way, start heating up in the next couple weeks or month or so. I'm expecting to see a post real soon from somebody about it, and I'm not being sarcastic. I really think it'll happen. But anyway, yeah, good point.
Okay, so you can find me on AlayaHealingServices.com. I'm on Starseed Shaman on Facebook. I'm on Twitter with Alaya Healing. I'm part of the Pleiadian Express Production team, team. And we have the Pleiadian Blue Ray Show page, me and Bridget. And yeah, you can contact me any of those places. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Okay, and Larry, do you want to let us know where you can find you?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Sif left the room. I was going to defer to her first
I'm here.
Okay, why don't you let everybody, honey, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you and your page and all that good stuff?
I'm in most of the regional Pleiadian groups and the Pleiadian pages. I have a little page called Rainbow Angel 444 where I post daily messages from my guides and angels. I'm also on Facebook just as Sif Gunnarsdottir, and yeah, I don't know. I have a little web page. People can find that web page through the Rainbow Angel page. I'm all over the Facebook world.
All over the Facebook world. Well, is it my turn?
Yes.
It is my turn. Well, you can find yours truly, Rockin' Larry Locken, on many places. You can find me, of course, a part of the great Pleiadian Express Productions team, which we now have a website thanks to the great Natalie, Shamanka, Natalie Alaya. Yes, it's awesome. So be sure to check that out. The links are everywhere. I've also got, besides the Pleiadian Express Productions YouTube page, Google page, Facebook page, I also have of likeness, the Pleiadian Light Grid Project page in Google and YouTube channel, where I do just kind of my own little different shows, my own little commentary on things, and also some kind of fun, wacky, cosmic stuff. But you can also find me all over the Facebook Starseed world, all the Pleiadian regional groups, too many to name. There's about 30 of them. UK and Canadian being the biggest. You can find me on Leah Shapiro's Pleiadians group as one of the admins. Fringe Thinkers, my baby group I created years ago. That's the Fringe, not French. Fringe Thinkers. You can find me in Lionel Anderson's NWO Freedom Fighters. You can find me in Natalie Alaya's Pleiadian Star Family Healers and Lightworkers. Also wanted to plug Bridget's Regional Pleiadians Group Northeast, and on and on and on. And of course, 15 different pages or so. Oh, 3 specialty groups: Lyran Kingdom, Pleiadian Lyran Kingdom. Also Reiki, Healers and Masters Pleiadian. I'm not getting these names exactly right, but bear with me, folks. I've created so many of them, too many of them I shouldn't have done. But and of course the Pleiadian Twin Flame Souls United group, Pleiadians Plus Attitude, and on and on and on. Just look me up. I'm the guy holding the pool cue next to the gorgeous Viking rainbow goddess with the pool cue. So with that being said, I know that wasn't much, but I had to get in my 15 seconds of fame. So back to you, Bodacious Bridget.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay, well, you can find me at my website, becreativelyu.com. I'm also on Facebook in a lot of the Pleiadian groups. Like Larry said, I do the Pleiadians Northeast. I also have a group for the Moonay Key Rites. It's called Moonay Key with Bridget. I have my own page that I run, Divine Essentials, New Paradigm Healing, and I often will send out long-distance healing to all those who request and offer chances to win free readings and things like that. You can also find me if you are in Massachusetts working at Blue Angel Healing or the Shanti Shala Yoga Center. And again, I'm with Pleiadian Express Productions. I'm with Natalie in the Blue Ray Show. And on my personal page, it's Bridget Rau. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And thank you, Sif and Larry and Tony and Natalie.
Thank you, everybody. Great show.
Great show. Awesome, guys.
Thanks for having me.
9715.
Crazy.
You guys rock.
All right.
All right, and that's a wrap. A big dating game cosmic kiss to everybody. Mwah.
Mwah.
Mwah.